introducing this as an ordinance. All he wanted was to, let's see, I'm reading it right now. He said, all I expected was to be advised from City Council that they would look at the draft and refer it to Corporation Council for review. So I would say that since Mr. Wood has requested this ordinance be withdrawn, and since he said that his stated intention was never for it to be brought forth as an ordinance, it's just something he wanted us to see, that I think that it should be withdrawn.
Also, a comment. The letter does make mention of Mr. Wood meeting with members of the administration, which I'm glad we're finally getting the cart before the horse. Could we get a report from the administration at what took place at that meeting and what the outcome was?
We did have a conversation with Mr. Wood. He also came, he was represented by council and members of the community development who did arm of their association. We were represented by myself for a moment anyway. So I'm going to have the Director of Economic Development come forward in a second. And one other member of our organization. In that meeting, Mr. Woods expressed that he was a little premature, basically, with bringing this to us. And while I had to leave before the end of the meeting, he conveyed, basically, during the time I was there, that he planned on withdrawing this particular item at this time. Whether or not he brings it back is another matter, but he did convey that he was going to withdraw it. Mr. Sanchez, could you give him some more detail about the meeting?
Yes, good evening, Council. Carlos Sanchez, Deputy City Administrator for Economic Development. We met with Mr. Randy Wood, his attorney, and the Director of Community Development for the Housing Authority. After I want to report a very pleasant conversation with Mr. Randy Wood, and based on the comments from the last council meeting, it was agreed by both parties that this ordinance should be withdrawn, because at this point, Housing Authority has no clear indication on what project they want to bring forward. They don't have a concept or that they can present to the administration. Based on the conversation, he was under the impression that he needed an ordinance in order for him to be able to sit down at the table to talk to the administration. That's not true. We don't need a resolution. We don't need an ordinance to be able to sit down with any potential developer to discuss any potential concepts. Now, once we discuss a concept and once we agree on a concept and when we think that it's a concept that is viable, then we will draft and draw any appropriate resolutions, any appropriate ordinance that is necessary. So based on that meeting, Mr. Randy Wood and his attorney agreed that they will withdraw the ordinance for now until they're able to propose a clear concept on what they want to propose in those particular sites. So that's the agreement that we had last Friday, I believe it was, that we met with them.
Thank you.
The ordinance and motion is on the floor.
I need a second.
Second, can I get a second?
I would just ask.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Okay, I would ask that the motion be tabled. Is this an appropriate time to
Yes.
make that motion?
Yes, the motion to table supersedes.
Okay.
Roll call on motion to table.
We don't have a second yet.
Second.
Council members Greaves,
This is the table,
this is to table the ordinance.
yes,
To table the ordinance?
the table.
It's taking it off the table.
Yeah.
Councilman,
As of now, I abstain.
Councilman Storch,
Yes.
Councilman Taylor,
To take it off,
to table.
to table. No.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Chairman Reed,
No.
Council President Rivers.
No.
It's 2 in favor, 3 opposed, 1 abstention. Motion to table fails.
Motion to table what?
Motion to table fails.
Pass.
Fails.
Fails.
Okay, thank you. So now we come back to the original ordinance 2014-16, which is an ordinance conveying the block 247,
Yes.
7, and 9,
Previously
lot 7 and
tabled by
9,
council.
to the housing. Now, with respect to the ordinance, as I said initially in the starting to say it was somewhat interrupted. Got a little upset. I apologize to anyone who had never seen me upset, and that's everybody that have seen me upset. I do get upset sometimes. Thank you. The ordinance will be reviewed by legal counsel. We will not pass an ordinance. We will not sign an ordinance that is improper. I can assure you that. I would never sign it. I would specify to sign it. All this does is get the ordinance so it can be corrected. I spoke with Mr. Woods today. He said, no, we're not getting out of it. We drafted the ordinance and you should draft it. I said, we will, before something is done. So the ordinance we're passing can be amended from what I understand about ordinances and laws and amendments in my past experience. So we need a vote.
Comment? Mr. Michello, since, aside from what, we're being told Randy Wood said, what I have is a letter where he asks for it to be withdrawn, and this concurs with what Mr. Sanchez said about the meeting. So what would be the point of passing an ordinance that the Director of the Housing Authority doesn't want passed, that the Director of the Housing Authority wants withdrawn? What sense does it make for a council to pass such a thing? And what are the ramifications?
I don't necessarily see it as a legal issue. I don't know what effect it would have. I think I understand your question. If both parties don't want an agreement, certainly it would never be consummated. However,
So what's the point of this, of voting for it?
I can't tell you that. I don't.
Thank you.
Roll call?
So roll call on MC 2014-16. Council members Greaves.
What is this for? To put this on the, for?
This is to approve on first reading the ordinance authorizing the conveyance of block 247, lot
Yes.
7. Councilman Storch? No. Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
No.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Council President Rivers?
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on first reading.
And this is only the first reading. We got the second reading.
Thank you. You have the second and you have the third. I just want to state this, that this has become a council ordinance. The executive director worked for the Housing Authority. He in no terms can tell the council to take an ordinance off of their agenda. As well as we in no terms can tell the Housing Authority Commissioner to take an ordinance off of their agenda. This has become a council's ordinance and is subject to amendments with the administration and corporation council. So I just want to be clear on that for everyone that's out there. The executive director, Randall Woods, cannot tell council members to take any ordinance off of the council agenda, as well as the council people cannot tell the administrators over there, as well as the board of commissioners, to take a resolution off of a housing authority's agenda. And
Council
this is
President?
only first reading. Now, I don't know, I didn't speak to the executive director before coming here, but Councilman Reed did speak to Executive Director Randall Woods before entering into this chambers. And the executive director did state that he in no terms said that he did not want this ordinance to move forward.
Comment? My point that I was making was he requested that it be withdrawn as premature, and all that, aside from a conversation that Mr. Reed said he had right before coming to this meeting, what we have is a letter requesting that the council take it off for the time being. And I think that that would be the most prudent thing to do.
Who did he send that letter to?
You received it, it was in your,
No, I didn't get it.
it's in your.
Order.
I'm just
Have you finished
responding.
making your statements?
Yeah, I just wanted to, yeah, no, I'm almost finished. Yes, we received on Friday afternoon, all council people received a letter from Mr. Wood and the Housing Authority to our city email requesting what part of what I read. Thank you.
Councilor Williams?
I'm looking at my email right now and I don't have it. Sorry.
Council President, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Mr. Wood still have the option of going through with this or not. You know, he has a long ways to go. There are many, many obstacles before us. Stick is driven in the ground to put a foundation down. Mr. Wood doesn't want to do a job that an ordinance doesn't. We're not saying that he have to build whatever he want to build there. We're saying we can convey the land to him after he get all the approvals and the administration look it over and they make a determination, then the project may go. There are tax certificates you have to get, the Housing Finance Agency have to approve it. It's a lot of work to be done, and Mr. Wood still have this option to jump out of the pot if he wishes to. And if Mr. Wood had been so desirous of not considering this, he would have had himself here tonight and said that to us directly, wouldn't he? I know I would have. So we passed an ordinance that says that we can convey this to Mr. Wood if this is on the first reading, incidentally, so we got a second reading to do, which it may not pass then. I don't see such a strong opposition to it that's been told to the general public. Please.
Can I also?
I think that the other issue is this may be a different approach to convey to the council the kinds of things that are going on. And I also feel that we need to address people who are from our city, whether they be investors, African American, Latino, and that they be given I believe in affirmative action myself. And I also believe that whatever it takes to get folk who are from the city to be involved in developing, investing, and building, that we should do it. And that's what I'm gonna do while I'm on this council. Now, this information that it came, I saw what happened at the last council meeting and how this individual was treated by administration. And if I were their attorneys, maybe I would tell them to do the same thing. I did not get a letter. However, because the council is concerned about ensuring that people from the city of Plainfield are involved in developing this city, I have no problem with this. And I want to make it clear that that's what we should begin to push in the city. And yes, all of the projects that are coming before us, we need to know more about it. Some of us on the council that may have conflicts of interest in our involvement, that should be open and transparent. And so I have no problem with someone letting us know what they would like to do and whatever it means in reference to making sure that we can get the kind of resources we need for housing and whatever, that we should do that. And I am not going to be intimidated by someone determining that it has to go a certain way. The law and the policies will prevail. This might be a little different for some people, but guess what? We may need to do some things out of the box so we can see what's going on in our city. And I have no problem with it. And I know that we're going to go according to the law. And people are not going to be intimidated because they work for administration, like it was last week, which I saw myself. So let's go on. It will work itself out. And we will work with economic development, our mayor and the administration and the council, and we will do what we need to do, and the people of Plainfield will know. Thank you.
Council President, final comment? This email was sent to all the council members on Friday at 12:46 p.m., Friday afternoon, and then it was as well, I'm still in the middle of a comment. I'm making a comment. And it was actually revised slightly because there was a typo and sent to us again, to everyone's email right here, city email, thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to make a comment, and I support a lot of what is being said by my colleagues. Councilwoman Taylor's, taking a stand for minority-owned businesses, getting work in Plainfield, and for locally owned businesses, and I think that's what we want. We do want that, but it does have to be in the public interest. It can't just be for the sake of the developer. So our planning board has a master plan, and we have a downtown transit-oriented zoning ordinance that gives guidelines on what is in the public interest. So this project, now we're saying that there isn't a project yet, and that's the last thing I heard tonight, but we all know there's a project, and the project, I believe, is residential only, and it's in the train station area where we need mixed development. So if we're talking about jobs that are sustainable, the construction jobs are going to go away. So yeah, those kind of jobs are great, but we need mixed-use development around our train station. What that does for us, it puts retail and other kinds of businesses on the first floor and residential above. That's what all the towns are doing in New Jersey and around the country if they have train stations. That's if you just drive down the Valley Line into Westfield, Vanwood, Cranford, on and on and on. They're all doing it. So we have to make sure that we're doing this because that's what's in the public interest. That's how we develop our downtown. Not just the construction jobs, but the jobs that will remain because we have retail and other businesses, not strictly residential. And I do believe that this project was initially put forward to Mr. Wood and the Housing Authority as a residential only project. That doesn't mean it has to be that way. We have to make sure that whatever goes there is in the public interest, not just in the interest of the developer. I also think it's unfortunate that Mr. Wood couldn't be here tonight to answer questions because we're kind of speculating, on what's in his mind, and we don't know. And I hope that the next time this comes up, he is prepared to speak to us about it. And at this point, the only thing that's transit-oriented about this whole proposal is that it's being railroaded.
Excuse me.
Mr. Sturge, Mr. Wood did say at last week when he presented the development that it would be commercial on the first floor.
Excuse me.
He contradicted himself.
Now,
Councilman Stewart,
Excuse
you have
me
had your
for a
turn.
moment.
Councilman
Excuse me.
Green, I'm giving it to Councilwoman Green.
Wouldn't you give any developer the specifications of what needs to be there? And I don't believe that any developer would be able to just build what he wants. We would have to give a developer, and that means any developer, the specifications of what we need to be built there. So I don't see that as a hindrance. I mean, if you give him a specification, he can't go beyond that or outside of it. Correct?
I could answer that question. Since one of these properties is city-owned, I do believe that the council is going to be asked to make an exception to the zoning ordinance, and then you will be in a position to vote yes or no.
you're
Well,
correct,
that's your
sir.
opinion.
Thank you.
May I call the next ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, it's ordinance MC 2014-17. An ordinance requesting